All right, let's do this thing. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back in to another video. And today is one of my favorite videos that I get to do every single year. I've been doing this for years now, since I started my path of being a unprofessional, professional film critic, whatever you want to call it. It is time for me to sit down and rank my favorite movies of 2024. Look, I think we had a pretty good year. It's definitely not a high mark year, but it's definitely not a low point year either. This was a solid year for film. And today we're going to break down my top 15 favorite films of 2024 with honorable mentions as well. Before we get into that, I got to take a look at the count, guys. I got to take a look at the count. Let's see what we're rocking with here. We are at 1,938 subscribers. So we are about 62 subscribers away from my goal of 2,000 subscribers. So if we didn't get there by the time this video is out, then we didn't do it, because this is going to come out on the 1st. So Happy New Year. But if you have not already and you like the content, please consider hitting that subscribe button. This is not a job for me. This is a hobby. I work a full-time job, and I do this on the side. If you like any of the content that you see, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, I have reviews for basically all of my top 10 films that I saw this year. I think I might be missing one or two, but I have reviews for basically all of these films. So I'm going to leave those reviews linked down below in the description. Go check out those reviews if you've not already, because you're going to get the full in-depth look on why I love these movies so much. These are going to be shorter, bite-sized reviews. Let's get into it. I saw 100 movies on the dot, 100 new releases this year. It's my goal every year to see 100 new releases. Did it again this year, did it on the dot at 100. And I got a lot of films that I really, really enjoyed. I'm going to give you 10 honorable mentions. I'm going to run through those. I'm not going to get very involved in those. And then we're going to hit the top 15. And I'm going to tell you why I like all of those films. So without further ado, let's just get into some of these honorable mentions. Number 25 on the year for me is A Real Pain, directed by Jesse Eisenberg. I think him and Kieran Culkin are fantastic here. The direction's awesome. The script is really tight. This was a really great film that people are raving about, and rightfully so. Got to see it at Sundance. It was awesome. I really, really loved it. Coming in at number 24 is Kneecap, another film I got to see at Sundance. I thought it was a really great ride. I love the editing here. The performances are awesome. They have the actual members of Kneecap as the actors in this. I thought they were fantastic. It's a great origin story to this, maybe not as well known in the States, a hip-hop group from Ireland. It was a lot of fun to watch. Coming in at number 23 is Strange Darling. Watched this one a few months after it came out, but I loved it. The nonlinear storytelling is fantastic. The performances are to die for. This is a very sharp thriller that leaves you on the edge of your seat, and I highly recommend anyone that is into those type of films gives a watch. Coming in at number 22 is The Turnaround, a short film on Netflix about the standing ovation that Trey Turner got during his slumping season that ended up turning his season around. I thought it was very powerful because it's not about the standing ovation. It's more about mental health, and it's more about how being kind can have a greater effect on people than you might actually know. And I thought in like the 22-minute runtime, it was very quick and concise, but it was really powerful, and I really, really enjoyed it. Coming in at number 21 is Carry On, one of my biggest surprises of the year. I think Taron Egerton and Jason Bateman are great here. They have awesome chemistry. It's an awesome, fun cat and mouse type Christmas movie. It's very Die Hard-esque, and a lot of people that I've recommended it to have also loved it as well. And if you've not watched it, it's on Netflix. Go check it out. It's a good one. We are in the top 20 now, ladies and gentlemen. Coming in at number 20 is Twisters. This is my type of film. It's action-packed. The performances are awesome. Does it make sense? Nah, but it is what it is. I thought it was awesome. Having actual footage from Storm Chasers added to the believability of this movie. I thought it was very well done, very well executed. One of my favorite blockbuster movies of the year. Coming in at number 19 is Monkey Man, Dev Patel's directorial debut. He also stars in it. John Wick in Mumbai. What more can you ask for? It was absolutely fantastic. The action is awesome. The story is great. Performances are incredible. And Dev Patel, very stylish direction for a directorial debut. I enjoyed it quite a bit. 18 is The Wild Robot. This, I think, is not my favorite animated movie of the year. It is my second favorite animated movie of the year, but it's heartfelt, it's emotional, it hits at all the feels, it makes you tear up. It's one of the best emotional movies of the year. Voice cast is awesome. The animation is absolutely stunning. I enjoyed this one quite a bit, and I think a lot of other people did as well. Number 17 is The Order, a smaller indie film that premiered at some film festivals starring Jude Law, Ty Sheridan, Nicholas Hoult. It's awesome. I really like this. It's a very compact, very coherently done thriller that is quick to the point, leaves you on the edge of your seat, grips you, compels you, and is very, it kind of ties into some stuff that might be going on in the world today. And I thought it was very profound. I loved it. I thought it was awesome. And it's number 17. Our first 90 or higher is Wicked. What is there to say? Production design, set design, costume design, everything. All of the production is to die for here. I think Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo are both fantastic. The direction is great. The music is some of the best I've heard all year. I love the hell out of this movie, and it just did not crack the top 15. Look, there's a lot of great movies that came out this year. I will, before we get into the top 15 and before I get more in detail on these movies, I do want to say there are 3 movies that I think had the potential to make this list that I did not see. That would be September 5th, The Brutalist, and Nickel Boys. Those 3 movies I have not gotten to see yet. They are limited releases, or if you're a critic, you might have a screener stuff. I am none of the above. I do not live in any of those cities where there are limited screenings, and I do not get screeners sent to me. I am a general theater goer that happens to do this on YouTube every now and then. So those 3 movies, I think, have the potential to crack into the top 15 of the year, but I haven't seen them yet. The Brutalist, I'm really looking forward to. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. I'm looking forward to it. When I see those movies in January, I'll update the list on Letterboxd, so follow me on Letterboxd. The link's down below in the description. But let's get in to the top 15. Coming in at number 15 is Hitman. This premiered at Sundance. Did not get to see it because I did the online version of Sundance. But I loved this. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Glenn Powell is a movie star. I mean, I already talked about Twisters. I think that's a fantastic movie. Glenn Powell shines here. Having to take on different personas throughout was very impressive. It is a wild film. It's a very unexpected anxiety trip. I loved it from start to finish. The writing here is probably the strongest part. It's a very compact, very sharply written film, and I thought it was fantastic. The chemistry of our 2 leads is great as well. This would have been a great date movie in theaters. Shame on Netflix for not releasing it in theaters. But this is one of my most favorite of the year. I give it a 91 out of 100, and it's my number 15 of the year. Coming in number 14 is another one from Netflix. It is The Comeback 2024 Boston Red Sox. Look, might be a little biased here because I am a Red Sox fan. I love the Red Sox. They are my team, so I might be a little biased. But at its core, this is a very well-constructed documentary. It is technically a miniseries. It's 3 episodes, but it's basically a movie. The access you get is unlike anything we've seen from this story in particular. There's been 100 documentaries on the 2004 Boston Red Sox and their comeback in the ALCS, but this is a story about how you got there. You can make a documentary on those 4 days in October, but we have never gotten the unparalleled access to the 2003 and what happened in 2003 into that offseason that then led into 2004. You get unprecedented access. The interviews here are some that you've never gotten before. The found footage is awesome. The editing here is so strong, and the director is a Red Sox fan. He knows how important this was for baseball history. He did it with care, and I absolutely loved it. Again, I'm a Red Sox fan. I've got a little bit of bias here, but I think it's one of the best sports documentaries I've seen. I would highly recommend, even if you're not a Red Sox fan, if you're a baseball fan, if you're a sports fan, I would recommend you check this one out. It's great, and it's number 14 on my list. It's just that good. My favorite animated movie of the year is Transformers 1. This film was an absolute blast from start to finish. We all saw that god-awful trailer that came out beforehand. It did not look good. I was not convinced. But I heard the reviews. I heard that it was surprising a lot of people, so I went and checked it out. I'm glad I did. It's phenomenal. The voice cast here is really good. I did not know. I was not going to buy Chris Hemsworth as Optimus Prime. I didn't buy it. I didn't buy it. I didn't think it was going to work. It did. Absolutely fantastic. Brian Tyree Henry as Megatron is great as well. The action is awesome. This is such a great action-packed movie that not just kids, but adults will like as well. I think it'll be, look, I didn't grow up on Transformers, but I know a lot of people that did, and this is a big nostalgia trip, for a lot of people that love Transformers. It's a very compelling origin story. It does not paint by numbers. It keeps you involved, and I really liked that. And it pushes the boundaries of what a really good animated movie could do. This is not just a cheaply done animated movie. This is a good film, just at its core. And look, I know people like to separate animated movies from non-animated movies, but this is just a good movie. And it doesn't have anything to do with the animation. The animation is beautiful, but this at its core is just a good movie with a compelling story and awesome performances. I really like this one. I give it a 91 out of 100. And it's, number 13 on the year. My favorite animated movie of 2024. Coming in at number 12 is Exhibiting Forgiveness. I saw this at Sundance in January of last year, and it stayed in my top 15 the entire year. This one also got a 91 out of 100 on my list. It has stuck with me since Sundance. It's a just very deep and stunning look at trauma and forgiveness. Like, it is called Exhibiting Forgiveness, obviously, but it's a very compelling story about familial trauma and how you come to forgive people that have wronged you all of your life, and how do you deal with the past and the very sensitive things that have happened in your past. How do you deal with that? This was a very maturely done, fantastically directed film. The writing's extremely deep, like I've said. It's the direction is incredibly delicate. It kind of feeds you the information as you're going, and it does not hit you in the face. There's a lot of really great moments of reflection here. Very long forming scenes that help push these fantastic performances, especially from Andre Holland, who is the heart and soul of this film. He is just stunning. I absolutely loved his performance. Like I already said, like the long moments of reflection and these conversations, they lead to actual, true emotional moments. They don't feel forced. They don't feel like emotional baiting. They feel earned, and I absolutely loved it. This is a stunning film. It is a smaller indie film that came out during Sundance. That did come out this year. I know that for a fact. Seek it out if you have not already. It's very emotional. It's very deep, and one that I think a lot of people are really going to like. Coming in at 11 is We Live in Time. It's as good as advertised, guys. This one got a 92 out of 100 on my scale. I loved it a lot. Andrew Garfield is a treasure. He is a treasure. Like, he is incredible in anything he does. I love him. He can be Spider-Man. He can be in this role. He can do whatever he wants. And I will always love his character. He always has this kind of delicateness to himself. This delicate vulnerability. And I absolutely love that. Florence Pugh tackles this performance with such grace. I know she actually shaved her head for this performance. We all saw those photos. She actually shaved her head for this performance, and she is really the heart and soul of this film, because we are really going through her experience of dealing with her illness and watching her vie with whether or not she goes through the chemo or whether or not she just lives her life to the fullest without being miserable. Like, this is a very heavy movie. that is anchored by two incredible performances. I liked the time jumping. It worked for me. We learned that story. It's not spoon-fed to you. You got to think a little bit, but I liked it. This is a story at its core about the human experience. They tackle all phases of adulthood, and I was drawn in from start to finish. The direction's great. The score is very mesmerizing. The ending breaks your heart. I loved this. It's exactly what I thought it was going to be. It is as good as advertised, and if you've not seen it, go check it out. And it falls at number 11 on my list. Before I get into my top 10, again, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Trying to get to 2,000 subscribers. I really do appreciate it. It means the absolute world. I'm very excited for 2025. There's a lot of promise for 2025, and I'm very excited to review those films as well. If you're excited, make sure you hit that subscribe button. All right, we're into the top 10, and at number 10 is Saturday Night. I love this film. 92 out of 100 on my rating scale. It's the definition of electricity from the beginning to the end. It's 90 minutes to live, and you are with them through the entire time. It is fast-paced. It is frenetic. It does not get dull. The script is incredibly dynamic. You are left on your toes, and it's quick. It's fast-paced. It keeps you going. The ensemble here is incredible. They had to be because they are that iconic original Saturday Night Live cast. They had to be great, and they absolutely nailed it. And you feel like you're there. You feel like you are in those halls of Rockefeller Center, and it was phenomenal. You know how the story ends. Obviously, they are celebrating their 50th anniversary of Saturday Night Live right now, but the build up to that is just as entertaining as the show itself. Like, just because you know what's going to happen, like, doesn't mean you know how you got there. The journey is just as important sometimes as the destination. And this is a perfect example of that. The journey here is stuff we've never heard or seen before. And learning and seeing this was fantastic, and I absolutely loved it. And again, 92 out of 100. It is my number 10 film of 2024. Furiosa stayed. It did. Coming in at number 9 on my list, 93 out of 100. There is nothing that George Miller can't do. If he wants to do something, he can do it. And Furiosa is yet another example. George Miller has already proven that he is one of the best blockbuster directors ever. But he continues to feel like he needs to push forward, and he does that with Furiosa. This, if you didn't see it in theaters, I'm sorry, because this demands to be seen on a big screen. It has to be seen on a big screen. It's bold. It's bombastic. It is a feast for the eyes. The performances are killer. Anya Taylor-Joy and Chris Hemsworth are fantastic. The story is incredibly gripping. How do we meet the Furiosa that we do in Fury Road? How do we get to that point? We watch Furiosa grow into who she is when we meet her in Fury Road. It was absolutely fantastic. Like I've already said, Anya Taylor-Joy and Chris Hemsworth are great in this movie. Commanding performances that demand to be respected. The action is what it is. It's George Miller. We already know. This film's not as good as Fury Road, but that's very hard to top. Fury Road is a cinematic achievement in terms of the action genre. It would be nearly impossible to top that. And this doesn't, but it's pretty damn close. And it's one of the most entertaining movies I've seen this year, and that's why it comes in at number 9 on my list. Number 8, A Complete Unknown. I did a review of this a few weeks ago. Go check that out if you have not already. Like I said, I've done reviews for basically all of these, so don't miss out. Go check out my reviews. I will leave them linked in the description. There's nothing that Timothée Chalamet can't do. He is transformative in this movie as Bob Dylan. I did not see Timothée Chalamet once. I was skeptical walking into this. I will not lie. We've been burnt in the past by bad musical biopics. This is not one of them. Chalamet is fantastic. I like this a lot. The performances are all great. I think the direction from James Mangold is stellar. This is a great concert movie, and I know people don't like that always. They want substance. They want the big, heartfelt, heavy story. And that's not what this is. This is a story about Dylan as a musician. You're not going to learn anything about Dylan as the man. You get some nuggets and some crumbs here or there as we examine some of his early relationships, but this is really an examination of how he got to where he got as being one of the most influential musicians in American music history. And that's great. I enjoyed that quite a bit because you are grappling with some of his personal stuff, especially as you get close to the Newport Folk Festival where he decides to go electric for the first time, and you grapple with those things that he is dealing with. And I really respected that and liked that. And again, it's backed by an incredible Timothée Chalamet performance. I love this film quite a bit. Probably the second place winner that came out of Christmas. And we'll talk about the first place one in a little bit. Next up on the list is Challengers. Everyone was hyping this up, and I was like, damn, I gotta see it. And my God, what a treat. This film is one of the best that you're going to see all year. The performances, to die for. The direction, incredible. The score is electric. You've seen that opening sequence. It's incredible. It is hot. It's heavy. It's full of tension throughout. You're learning, the non-linear. There's a theme in my list this year, non-linear storytelling. I love having to work for my information sometimes. The tennis sequences are some of the best sports sequences you'll see all year, and the love triangle is intriguing. It got me. I was so invested. I wanted to see what was going to happen. The writing has some issues, but it didn't ruin it for me. I think overall this is an incredibly well-done sports movie / drama that has killer performances and is one that demands to be seen. Challengers got my attention. I think it'll get yours as well if you have not seen it. So go check it out. All right, we got 6 films left, and from here on out, every film I rated a 95 or above, which is a 5-star rating for me. These are the best of the best, and we are starting with Civil War. Alex Garland is a great director. I love basically everything he's done. I'm very excited for Warfare, which is coming out this next year. And this is something. It's heavy. It's gripping. It's emotional. It's frightening, especially with current events that happened this year in the country. It's very frightening to look at. And I thought that was great. The writing here is fantastic. Look, if you don't know my background, if this is the first time you're ever watching one of my videos, I got a journalism degree from the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism in Arizona State. I know a lot about what they were talking about here. Journalistic ethics and integrity and the story and getting the shot and, not compromising. This is stuff that we are taught in journalism school. And I ate it up. The decision to use the perspective of journalists in this film is great. Because journalists are supposed to have a non-biased look at the world. And I get it. Don't come at me in the comments like, no, I know. But that's how we're trained. We're trained to have an unbiased look at the world. And I think having it through the lens of journalists covering the Civil War was a great idea. I've already kind of talked about it a little bit. The performances are great. Kaylee Spaney, Kirsten Dunst, great. Awesome. So good. The technical is some of the best all year. It is. It is breathtaking. It's crazy. It is wild. And Alex Garland killed it. He killed it. This is the most intense movie you'll see all year. It's frightening to watch for some people. It is just straight up scary to watch. But it's a cautionary tale of what could happen. And I think it's very important, and I think most people should watch it. I think it's one of the most important movies that came out this year. Cracking into the top 5 is the Bikeriders. Did a review on this one as well. I love Sons of Anarchy. I love biker culture. No, I'm not a biker. You'll never see me on a motorcycle. But I love that culture, and I love those stories. And you knew I was going to eat this one up. It was great. I loved it. I loved the grimy aesthetic. The cinematography is great. The sound in the theater boomed. It was awesome. I ate this up from start to finish. The performances are great. This is a performance-based movie. I think Tom Hardy and Jodie Comer are the best. Austin Butler's good. You don't get a lot of him. He's very uncharacterized. You don't get a lot of his character, but that's okay. He's kind of in the shadows, which was good. I love the writing. This movie is not for everyone. Like people either love it or they hate it. I think it's a very divisive movie. But I loved it. I loved it. I think it was absolutely fantastic. It's a big hell yeah from me. 96 out of 100. One of my favorite movies of the year. I ate up Conclave, man. This film was phenomenal. I know people were saying it was going to be Oscar bait. I, too, was a little skeptical, thinking it might be Oscar bait, but it was not. This is a damn good movie. It's a technical marvel. It looks stunning. It's got one of the best scores of the year, bar none. And the sound design is also superb. Just so good. The script is engaging. It is. It is one of the most sharply written scripts of the year. It's a thriller. A thriller about picking the next pope, but it examines power, it examines politics, it examines faith, and just humanity as a whole. And even the people at the top of the church sometimes have lapses in faith. And what happens when those lapses in faith come into having to pick the next pope? Performances are great. Ralph Fiennes eats here. He is fantastic. This is going to be a heavy Oscar contender. It's, I think, top 3 right now for Best Picture, betting odds and stuff like that. It lived up to the hype for me. Disclaimer, I am Catholic, so I know about all this stuff. So I ate it up. I thought it was great. 96 out of 100, and it's a top 5 movie for me this year. I'm just as surprised as you guys. The next one on the list, just making it in after seeing this like 3 days ago. Nosferatu is an achievement. I just put this review out a few days ago. If you've not already seen it, go watch it. I get into very big detail on why I love this movie. But in short, Robert Eggers crafts what I think is a real-life nightmare. It's incredibly tense. It's got brilliant performances, some of the best of the year. I think Lily Rose Depp is stunning. Bill Skarsgård's terrifying. It's another one of the best technical films of the year. The sheer scope and scale is something that we haven't seen, and it's a haunting tale that will be seared in the back of your brain for a long time. I've been thinking about this movie every day since I've seen it. It will not leave me alone, and it's got a grip on me, just like Nosferatu in the movie. Look, I'm not a horror guy, but this worked for me. It's not too horrific. It's more of a tension-filled kind of drama that does have some horror elements to it, but it's one of my favorites of the year. I absolutely loved it. It's 97 out of 100. I rated it, and it jumped all the way up to number 3 on my list right at the buzzer. This movie needs to get seen by more people. I know it kind of got a limited release, but then it got a full release. I saw it in theaters. Sing Sing is brilliant. I gave it a 98 out of 100. It's brilliant. It's a heartfelt film about art and how we use art to express emotion, and how the two connect, and they provide an outlet for people who have the least amount of hope that they will ever have a normal life again. How art can help bring out the emotion in them and help them push forward. Coleman Domingo is brilliant here. I think he deserves an Oscar nomination. Shoot, I think he should probably win the Oscar for this performance. He is breathtaking. The supporting cast is great. Having actual inmates as part of the cast was awesome. It's so great. It adds a level of authenticity, and the direction is chef's kiss. I have no notes here. I don't. This was a euphoric experience in the theater. I cried. I thought it was incredibly emotional. I loved this movie, and that's why it's my number 2 favorite movie of the year. I don't think this one's going to come as any surprise. Saw this in February, and it stayed at number 1 on my list all year. It's because I gave it a 99 out of 100, which is as close to your perfect score as you'll probably ever get. This film is nothing short of incredible. I love the first one. I think it was my favorite film of that year as well. Denny crafted a sci-fi classic unlike anything we've ever seen. It's not only great in terms of sci-fi elements, but it's just a damn good movie. The performances are incredible. We already talked about Timothée Chalamet with The Complete Unknown. Range, please, range. Like, he's stellar. Zendaya, fantastic. Austin Butler, my God. Why are we not talking about him for Oscar stuff anymore? It's because it came out in February. He still deserves some Oscar love. And the direction, like I said, it's Denny. He crafted a modern sci-fi classic that will be studied for years. Greg Fraser is unbelievable with a camera. I just want to say that too. The cinematography here is breathtaking, and I trust him with any. He's probably my favorite cinematographer. He's just got to be. He's incredible. The writing is very layered. It's very dense. I think it adapts the material very well. I have read Dune, so I have done my research. I think it adapts the book really well. And the action spectacle in the third act are definitely worth the hype. I mean, I was so excited to be transported back to Arrakis after the first one, and this was just so damn good, man. It was good. It was the best movie-going experience of the year. I will never forget it, and it is my favorite movie of 2024. That's it, folks. That's my list. Gave you, I think, my top, 30 of the year? Let me know in the comments. What is your favorite film of 2024? Was it one of the ones I had on my list? Do you have one completely different? Like I said, there are a few films I wanted to see that I just haven't been able to see it because they're not available where I live. So when I see those, I will update this list. You know, if The Brutalist ends up at number 1 or in my top 5, or if September 5 ends up in my top 5, I will update the list on my Letterboxd. That's linked in the description, so go follow me on Letterboxd. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. I want to talk to you guys down below in the comments. And thank you for a fantastic 2024. I think if we look at the metrics, this is probably my best metric year ever. We've been on a hot streak of videos for the past 2 months. Like, every video I've put out has kind of popped, and I've been very thankful for that. Thank you guys for a great 2024. 2025 looks very promising in terms of films. Like, I'm very excited for what we have for 2025. I hope you guys are as well. I hope you stay tuned and stick with it here on the channel, because I'm going to be putting out more reviews like I have, in-depth reviews on all the big movies that I see all year long. That's pretty much it, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. I hope you have a great new year, and we'll see you in the next video.